Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Sean Kogan, and I lead patient advocacy for immunology at Bristol Myers Squibb, a pharmaceutical company located in New Jersey. I am very happy to be here today and have been truly enjoying the incredible sessions that we've had so far. So, thank you to the presenters. Thank you to the Autoimmune Association for hosting this important summit. And most importantly, thank you all for being here, for being so engaged, and giving me the honor to say a few words. We are proud to be partnering with the Autoimmune Association. So it's an amazing opportunity. We're so grateful for this opportunity to come together, to connect virtually. I think the eagerness and the openness to learn, engage, and exchange about the latest research and support over these last few sessions have been really empowering. And I know I, for one, have been very energized by the discussions and the chats today. So thank you. So at Bristol Myers Squibb, we work every day to transform patients' lives through science and free people from the burden of their disease. We're committed to doing our part in helping advance health equity because now, I think more than ever, we recognize the role that we need to play to create the change necessary to improve the health of the underserved within our own communities. And we view health equity as a pathway. It's really this pathway to inclusive innovation, better science, greater reach to those who need our medicines, and ultimately a deeper fulfillment of our mission for patients. And so while we have made strides in helping patients, we fully understand and recognize that there is still so much more that needs to be done. So through our inclusion and diversity and health equity commitments, Bristol Myers Squibb is investing $150 million to address health disparities, clinical trial diversity, supplier diversity, so those are the companies that we work with, employee giving, and representation within our own workforce and our own employees over the course of 5 years. So on behalf of our team, and really in addition to the rest of the industry, we want to say that we stand by you. We are here to support you throughout this journey because we recognize that when standing together, we're capable of driving better outcomes for those disproportionately affected by serious diseases. So with that, thank you again for having me and giving me the floor. We hope you enjoy this session on the Autoimmune Association's overview of their diversity and equity and inclusion initiatives, and hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. So thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Autoimmune Association's second annual summit, and thank you for joining our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion session. My name is Sade Mallory Mason. I am the Outreach Coordinator for the Autoimmune Association. Am I on? I'm sorry, I see a blank screen. I just want to make sure I'm on. Okay. I got the notification that I'm live. Sorry about that. So I am also the outreach coordinator for the Autoimmune Association, and I am also a lupus patient. I was diagnosed with mixed connective tissue disease in 2019, and my diagnosis changed to class 5 lupus of the kidneys and systemic lupus in 2020. My longing to belong to an autoimmune community with women and women who look like me inspired me to become an advocate to bring awareness to lupus and other autoimmune diseases. Over the past 6 months, we've conducted several roundtables, semi-structured interviews, and surveys geared toward women of color. Due to racial discrimination and disenfranchisement within the medical community, women of color will most likely be victims of delayed diagnosis. As a result of the roundtables, there were common themes that emerged, and we would like to amplify some of the findings with some of our roundtable participants. Today, I'm so excited to share this platform with 3 of our autoimmune warriors and advocates, Katina, Shonda, and Tanya. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a few minutes for introductions. Shonda, we can start with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Nice to see you, Sade. I am Shonda Berry. I am a ulcerative colitis warrior. I am an IBD patient advocate. I am a mother. I am an entrepreneur. I am the owner of Beyond Inc. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis at the age of 24, but I suffered in silence for 10 years. I started having symptoms at the age of 14. And in the community where I come from, we don't talk about certain things, especially blood in the stool. So I suffered in silence. I suffered with my pain, blood in the stool, and those symptoms that I didn't know what was the cause or what it was coming from for 10 years until I got pregnant with my daughter and I had her. That's when I decided I needed to find out what was going on with me. So told my doctor, saw a GI, got a colonoscopy, and found out I had ulcerative colitis, and I'll have it for the rest of my life. But that journey has sparked the advocate nature in me, and it has definitely driven me to want to help others who are suffering in silence, and also trying to figure out a way to live with their autoimmune disease.
Thank you, Shonda, for that introduction. We're excited to have you here with us. Let's
Thank
go
you.
to Tanya.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Tanya Fryridge. I am a lupus warrior. I actually have a lot of autoimmune diseases. I'll explain that in a second. But I was inspired because of my struggles with autoimmune disease. And I've been a registered dietitian for a long time to create my private practice, the Lupus Dietitian, to help women and men, anyone binary if you want, with lupus or other autoimmune diseases, feel their best. And unfortunately, for a lot of reasons, it's a very underserved population. A lot of dietitians don't know much about autoimmune disease and how to help people. And there is so much that people can do for themselves. So I am very passionate about spreading great education of what you can do with diet and lifestyle, because that is something that you can hold in your hand. You can control that. A lot of things you need your help with your doctors or to have those conversations, but the day-to-day, going on a walk, getting good rest, all of these lifestyle changes are something that everyone can do for themselves. So thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to the panel.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tanya. We are excited to have you here. And Katina.
Hello, my name is Katina Morrison. I'm a registered nurse and a chronic illness coach, as well as the founder and CEO of Nurse Loves Essentials and the host of the Inflamed Sisters Thriving podcast. For me, this is so important because after decades of symptoms since childhood, I was finally diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, and endometriosis in my 30s. My experience with the healthcare system is what has fueled my passion for assisting women with autoimmune diseases to find a way to stop hiding and start thriving in all aspects of life. And that's why I created my platform in order to help women with chronic illnesses to do what they were meant to do, to know that it's truly possible, to advocate for themselves in all aspects of life, and to find strategic growth in their health, career, and business, health being the most important part.
Awesome. Thank you. We appreciate you. Okay, so just a friendly reminder that we want to keep our responses under a minute. We have 30 minutes, and I just want to make sure that we get a chance to touch on all of our topics. So let's dive right in. Our first topic, which was very popular in the roundtable, is disparities in healthcare. So I'll start with Katina. Actually, I'm sorry, I have my notes here. So the first question is, what did you take away from the roundtable about the participants who talked about disparities and disenfranchisement within the medical community?
Well, it helped me to see that we are all not alone, that it's something that is real and truly happening within the communities that we are all a part of. And that it's important for us to learn how to advocate effectively for ourselves, to recognize where that issue lies at, and to be able to, communicate what is necessary for us to get the best quality of care. It was actually very disheartening to me, but it also showed me that this is why all of us, these types of conversations are needed, so that we can come together to find solutions that can drive improving the quality of care that people receive despite their color, ethnicity, background, and et cetera.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyone else want to chime in on any ways that they were able to relate to the women from the roundtable regarding this issue?
Yes. As Katina said, it is very disheartening. It's very difficult sometimes for me to hear or even talk about, because I've had my own struggle with disparities in my community. And on that roundtable, I heard some things that was heartbreaking. I see and I know for a fact that there's a lack of concern, care, and treatment in underserved communities. It's a problem. I've had my own issues with that, a doctor downplaying my symptoms, and because I'm a woman and where I come from, like zip code should not be a factor. So I'm seeing that, a lot of treatment is based on your zip code, gender, and race, and it's totally unfair. And it's not healing in the community. It's not healing those that are suffering. So that's why I do feel community is important, advocate, and us talking through that, because as we see, there's others just like us out here. So the conversation definitely needs to happen, and it shouldn't be based on where you live as far as what kind of care you receive.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Tanya?
I think heartbreaking is the most accurate word. I mean, some of the stories that women were sharing were just unbelievable. And I think not only self-advocacy, but also education. And maybe it's not coming from your doctor's office, but just Googling on reputable websites to understand, oh, this symptom could be from this disease, or it could be a side effect of medication. Just having that curiosity and looking things up is one way that I think people can kind of arm themselves to be their own self-advocate. Because yes, the community for sure, but some of the just kind of blatant disregard for people's pain was really, really heartbreaking to hear.
Yeah, I agree. I think heartbreaking is definitely the word. One of the stories that really stuck out to me, one of the young ladies went to the doctors to get a CAT scan. She was feeling tired. She ended up being diagnosed with MS, but the doctor dismissed her symptoms and said that they were from being a single mother and maybe she was depressed. And, it caused a delay in diagnosis. So yeah, the roundtable definitely highlighted some of the disparities that women of color in particular go through. Anything else you guys want to add? Good. Okay, so that actually transitions us into our next topic.
I think everyone pretty much talked.
Say that again, Shonda. I think.
Oh no, I said I think every.
Okay, Shonda, you're freezing up a little bit, so I think there's a delay in the responses. So the next topic is being heard. And I'm glad we moved to this topic a little early because I think this is a topic where we will have a lot to say. So nearly all of the participants from the roundtables voiced frustration and concern about being heard. For context purposes, we are referring to medical gaslighting. This is when your symptoms are being dismissed, minimized, or ignored. This can sometimes result in being misdiagnosed or delayed diagnosis. Now, gaslighting is not always intentional, but nonetheless, it happens. And as patients, we need to be aware and prepared. So I will start off with let's see here. I'm sorry, my computer froze. Okay. So as an advocate, do you have any strategies or approaches that you use when you experience medical gaslighting? And anyone can start this off.
Yes,
I do.
Go ahead, Katina, then we'll go to you, Shonda.
Okay. As was mentioned, it took more than 30 years for me to personally get a diagnosis. And from childhood, I was told things such as it was growing pains. And then even in my adulthood, as a registered nurse, I was told that the pain was in my head, that if you think pain, you'll see pain. If you think swelling, you'll see swelling or feel pain. And those experiences taught me the importance of me recognizing and identifying that I have a voice in my care. It's very important to recognize that your healthcare isn't tied to just one medical practitioner or provider, that you have options. And that's what happens is sometimes people feel that they were referred to the top rheumatologist. So whatever that rheumatologist says is what goes. But the truth is that person may not actually see you because of the color of your skin and because of the way that your symptoms display compared to other cultures. Women of color, Black women in particular, also tend to not reflect pain in the way that some do. So oftentimes, because we're not grimacing, because we're not, we may not be crying, because we're just pushing through and still working full-time jobs and managing our families, it's not seen the same because they feel, how could a woman be accomplishing all of this and still be in chronic pain? Well, I was one of those women, and I had to hire and fire several medical professionals until I was able to get to the right one and get referrals from providers I knew who cared for me, to even their closest friends, to really talk to my friends about who were they seeing, and to let doctors know I have a voice in my care. And if you're not willing to be a team player with me, then I'll have to find the person who is going to treat me with kindness and compassion in the way that I deserve, and to stick to that. So really, when you're experiencing medical gaslighting, remember you have a voice, find it, use it, and find the professionals, practitioners, and that are going to help you, and do research to find out what are the testing and diagnostic procedures that you should be receiving so that you can get an adequate diagnosis.
Absolutely. And before we go to you, Shonda, I just wanted to mention something that you said. We do have this thing in our culture, the strong Black woman. My mom is a strong Black woman. It was like a badge of honor. But then I'm starting to realize that being that strong Black woman can be detrimental to our health. So yeah, I'm glad that you touched on that. Shonda?
I just wanted to say that I think the best advice that I can give is don't let a doctor or anyone else try to dictate your symptoms. You know how you feel, you know what you're going through, you're living with it every day. So don't downplay what you're going through, don't downplay what you're feeling. Use your voice, amplify it. The more you speak up, the more help you can get, the more reach to your community. But when medical gaslighting happens,
Oh, Shawnee, we keep losing you. And I know you're dropping some gems. We keep losing you. All right. So you're still frozen. Are you? Okay. I think you're still frozen on my end.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to move on to our next question. Because
actually, I have one thing to add in. I just thought of, if that's
Absolutely.
okay. We'll wait for Shonda to come back. So I completely agree with Katina about you have the power to fire doctors. It's inconvenient sometimes, for sure. And I understand sometimes getting to the other doctor is a lot of time and effort, and then you have to pay another copay. So it's certainly inconvenient, but it can be the difference between a diagnosis soon or a lot more pain and a lot more time. So I always advocate for people. They're the expert with medicine, but you're the expert in your body. So if you know that something is new or different or weird, and maybe you're kind of just ignoring it because you are strong and pushing through. But if you mention it to a loved one, hey, that's kind of weird, or they're noticing that you're behaving in a little bit of a different way, take note of that. And I always recommend all of my clients, keep a list, keep your symptoms journal, write down, on this day, I was at a level 2. But the next day I was at a level 9. It was really, really bad, because a lot of doctors are very evidence-based and they don't want to hear a long story. You don't have much time. And unfortunately, that's how the system is. So if you come in with, these are my 3 symptoms that are really bothering me. I noticed they got a lot worse. It used to be a level 2. Now it's a level 9. Now they have something that looks like data that they can help you with. Because sometimes when you're telling a story, it's kind of subjective. You may not get the help that you need and deserve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so we're talking about strategies for medical gaslighting. So at what point in your journey to diagnosis or after did you determine or realize the importance of being a self-advocate? And Shonda, let's see here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Shonda, you want to take this question?
Sure. I can take that. That's fine. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. I realized when I needed to become an advocate when I had complications with the ulcerative colitis, and it almost took my life.
Oh. Is she freezing on your end too, guys? Okay.
She is.
Okay. I'll let Katina, did you want to take the question?
Yes, I knew for me that I needed to become an advocate because I realized how long it took me to receive treatment, and how for all of my conditions, had I received treatment earlier, it could have decreased some of the damage that was already done to my health and to me, whether it be mentally, emotionally, and most importantly, also the physical areas that are affected due to conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and endometriosis. So last year, that's when I created my platform in June, because it became to me very necessary and something I was passionate about. I felt like if I didn't speak, I wasn't fulfilling my personal purpose. And my purpose is really to serve and to help others. And the nurse in me and the compassionate woman in me, motivated me to try to speak out so that I can help others decrease the time it takes them to get the quality of care that they deserve, and to know the simple steps that they can do to improve their lives and the care that they receive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shonda, are you here with us?
She looks like she's still frozen. I can put in a 2 cents. Hopefully that clears up.
Okay, go ahead.
So I started my diagnosis journey with autoimmune diseases when I was only 12 years old. And I realized pretty soon after, especially when I started going doctors by myself because I went away for college. So my mom wasn't there with me anymore. And I realized, wow, I need to really know my stuff before I come into this appointment, because I had some appointments really go haywire. And not the doctor really treating me very poorly, because honestly, I was a kid. I really was not well informed about what was going on with me, and I didn't come prepared to those appointments, and I was completely disheartened.
Yeah. So then let's see here. All right, so we're going to move on to our next question, and that's shared decision making, and we've touched on it a little bit. But for those who, I think maybe people have different definitions or perspective of what shared decision making is. So would you guys share with everyone what you believe shared decision is? Tanya, you can start.
Sure. So I really believe it is having candid conversations with your doctors, your medical care providers. Maybe you've fired one or two, and now you have ones where you feel like trusted and trust in them. They are trusting you, that they're not coming into the appointment with a little bit of skepticism. Is this really a symptom? Are you being dramatic? So that shared trust has to be there. And then also informed decision making. So you should have a doctor that's explaining, hey, I'm suggesting this because of X, Y, and Z. These are the reasons why other treatment plans are not appropriate for you, and having that shared conversation, not just, I'm writing you a prescription for this, see you in 3 months.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of patients who don't know that you can absolutely participate in your healthcare journey. I look at doctors as, I'm a customer, so, and I think a lot of people, once you realize that you can make decisions with your doctor, yes, they come with a certain amount of knowledge, but you also know your body. So when we join, with the doctors as a collaborative effort, I think that it can really benefit our journey in this autoimmune world. Let's see. Okay, I think Shonda dropped off. Okay, so we're going to move on to our
next. Here.
Oh, you're still here?
The camera.
Okay. I won't. Hi, Sean. I'm so glad you're still here. So we're going to move on to our next topic, and this is navigating the autoimmune journey as a woman of color. As I mentioned in the beginning, it was important for me to find a community of women, but specifically women of color who live with autoimmune diseases, because for me, it was the relatable factor. And I needed to see examples of how women of color were making it through everyday life with an autoimmune disease. So I'll start off with this question. How important is a community, and how does it play a role in your health journey? And Shonda, are you there?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Do you want to
I'm
take?
here. I think
Okay.
it's better now since I stopped the visual.
Okay.
Sure. It was important for me because I wanted to be able to see. It was nice to be able to see women that look like me, that sound like me, that come from places that I've come from, same background, but actually struggling with some of the same issues. And just to have one that can relate to what you're going through, that's major. That's major, because then I was able to find someone that I can confide in, and they felt the same way. And they may be able to give me tips, tricks, and guidance that someone else may not be able to. So that was very important to me, to have that community that understood exactly what I was going through. And even when I'm not going through it, still have that bond with them, to still be able to talk to them about my journey, and then be able to talk to me as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Go ahead,
if I
Cassandra.
could add, I know for me personally, I didn't recognize the importance of community until I decided to create one. And I realized that's what I had been missing all along. All along. For me, I'm an introvert, which people don't usually recognize about me. And by actually reaching out and connecting with others within the autoimmune community and chronic illness community, it's really shown me that when I'm doing something I'm passionate about, it also helps me to not only help others, but it also is helping me heal through the challenges I went through. Hearing other stories, sharing it transparently, being willing to be vulnerable, which is oftentimes difficult in our community, to be transparent and vulnerable because of many things that we've been through, and the neglect that we've experienced from the healthcare system. We usually don't trust as easily, but I'm building trust and learning to trust others even more, but also helping to facilitate a community that can heal and grow together. And it's been very beneficial overall for me, but also to the others that I've connected with. And it actually has been very fulfilling.
Yeah, the importance of community is very, very valuable. We have 2 more questions, and we have maybe 2 more minutes, and I just want to get these questions in. The second one is, how important is it to have representation within your healthcare team, and why? Anyone can take this.
Well, I know for me, I choose to have as much as possible people of color as my doctors. I find that they listen to me more and understand me, and are willing to provide me the treatment that I need in order to meet my needs, and don't just look at how do I physically appear, but what am I really telling them I feel like. So I have a very culturally diverse team, and having that representation has really changed the course of how my autoimmune condition has been treated.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have something, Tanya?
Yeah, so I actually have found, and I've moved a lot. I've had a lot of doctors. For it's a lifelong. I've found that I really, really do much better in terms of that shared trust and those conversations and shared decision making when the majority of my doctors are women, and of all colors, all backgrounds. But for some reason, it's just easier. They understand what it is being mom, being full time, having those conversations around fertility. I feel like I'm much better taken care of that way, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So so I'm trying to make sure we stay on time. There's this one question I really have to ask, and then we can move on to wrapping up. In a few sentences, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self to do differently during your journey diagnosis? And Shonda, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can. I sure can. I would tell my younger self to speak up. Use.
I think she's gone again.
Speak up.
Okay.
talk
Okay.
to, can you hear me?
Yep, you faded out for a second.
Okay. Okay. I would just tell my younger self to speak up and not to suffer in silence. That way my diagnosis wouldn't have to be delayed. It was actually on my part because I didn't say anything, and that didn't have to be the case. So I would definitely would have used my voice if I knew what I knew now.
Okay. Katina, 30 seconds.
Yes, I would tell my younger self that you're stronger than you think, and definitely to not give up, to keep pushing forward, and to, as Shonda put it, to speak up, to use that voice and advocate for yourself and connect more with others.
Absolutely. Tanya?
Yeah, actually, the last thing that Katina said of connecting more with others. So I didn't really join the autoimmune community until I started my private practice as the lupus dietitian. Before that, I was just kind of like, yeah, I have these things. I'm pushing through. Like, the diseases are not me. But I think accepting that that is a part of my identity, that is a part of my day to day, it is a part of my decision making for my whole life. It's not going away.
Right.
And I think a lot of people, when they're first diagnosed, put it in one box and live the rest of their life in another box. And it's hard. It's hard to combine that.
Yeah.
But I think it's really a good thing. You don't have to make it your whole identity, but it's a part of you, and it's leading you in how you make decisions for your life. So
Yeah, and understanding that the disease is not who you are, is what you have. Our keynote speaker said that earlier today. Yeah, so let's see here. Where are we at? 2:42. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up, but I'm going to leave a few minutes just for you guys to kind of close it up. So again, my name is Sade Mallory Mason, and it's been a pleasure to share this platform with you ladies. For anyone who wants to keep in touch with me, you can follow me at my Instagram page, which is Her Autoimmune Discussion. That's where I do a lot of posting for lupus and autoimmune awareness, and anything that we also have going on with Autoimmune Association, I also post it as well. I also want to thank the Autoimmune Association for giving us the opportunity to have this valuable discussion. I would also like to give a special shout out to our CEO, Miss Molly Murray, and our COO, Miss Laura Simpson. So we have exactly 3 minutes. I just want to use this time if you guys want to just say a few words, and also let our viewers know where they can find you guys on Instagram or your social media tags. We have like about 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right,
Well, once again, I'm Katina. You can find me on Instagram at I am_Katina Morrison. I also have the Inflamed Sisters Thriving Summit, Inflamed Sisters Thriving podcast, where I share the journeys and stories of others as well. I want you to know that you may have your autoimmune disease, but your autoimmune disease does not have you. That's said by one of my good friends, RA Warrior Fitness, Ashley Nicole. And please don't give up in the fight, and connect with those who will be able to support you.
Thank you, Katina. Shonda?
Yes, and I'll be quick before it cuts out. So I just wanted to let people know that the autoimmune disease journey is tough, but we are definitely tougher, and there's not a need to suffer in silence, because there's a community of autoimmune disease warriors out here ready to advocate for you and with you. And if you want to reach out to me, my Instagram is Shonda_Berry. I'm ready to advocate with you and on your behalf.
Awesome. Tanya?
Hello. So thank you both for such wonderful accounts. Like, this was such a great panel. But if y'all want to follow me, you can on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere at The Lupus Dietitian. My closing remarks for anyone listening is, just because you have whatever it may be, autoimmune disease, does not mean that now you've had this terrible thing come at you and you don't have any recourse. You have your diet, you have your lifestyle, you have your stress management, you have things that you can do every single day that can make a huge difference in how you're feeling. Educating yourself so that you are happy and okay with the treatment plan with your doctors. All of this plays a part, because if you're an active participant in your care, you are going to be much happier and much better place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you,
all.
ladies, so much. We finished on time, guys. We did good.
Thank you for having us. We really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
ladies. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Enjoy your weekend.
you.
And don't forget tomorrow, Autoimmune Summit. We start again tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.